I spy with my little eye a beautiful field of blueberry bushes. When thinking of blueberries, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Here in the South, blueberries are a staple. They have multiple purposes to satisfy the human craving. We eat blueberries right off the bush, throw them in smoothies, mix them into our pancakes, and even use them as an excuse to enjoy some time outdoors as we go blueberry picking with friends when the weather warms up. So how do we maintain the populations of blueberries in the South to keep our needs and wants met? One does not have to look far to find our blueberry hero, Habropoda laboriosa, also known as the southeastern blueberry bee. This species aids in the pollination of blueberry plants.
My name is Charles Ray. I'm a research fellow in the Department of Entomology and Plant Pathology. The Entomology Department has had a collection since about the 1950s. So when the museum was started, we consolidated our collection with the museum collection, so it's now part of the museum.
Well, thank you so much for meeting with us today. So we understand that they have a preference for vaccinium, or the blueberry plant. So what is so unique or special about the relationship between the southeastern blueberry bee and the blueberry plant?
Well, blueberries we eat rely on an insect pollinator to move pollen, because the berries that are cross-pollinated get much larger and taste much better than berries that are self-fertilized. So almost every blueberry flower can fertilize itself. It's just the berry will not be very large and it will not have much sugar.
The pollination of the blueberries we see and eat so often can be given credit in part to the southeastern blueberry bee. These bees pollinate a single genus or very narrow genera of blueberry plants. The blueberry bee wants mainly one or two things out of the plant: pollen and nectar. When the bee is looking for the flower's pollen and nectar, it will land on the petals, push back the stamen and style where the pollen is located, and push its way down into the ovary where the nectar is located. They have a distinct way of getting their food, as the bees like to latch on upside down and shake the flower, getting a face full of pollen in the process. Females latch on with their legs too and get them covered in pollen. It then backs out and flies to the next flower. The females pick up more pollen, but the regions of the body in which the pollen sticks to in the males is actually the most important, so both genders are very effective in the pollination process. A male during mating season might travel off to another plant in order to find a mate, leaving the females to self-fertilize the same plant. Self-fertilized berries lack sugar and don't taste as good as the cross-pollinated ones. Blueberries could get by without the southeastern blueberry bee, but we wouldn't like what was produced.
So the southeastern blueberry bee is extremely important to blueberries. It helps blueberries taste much better to humans, and in the process this bee has discovered a niche where it has no parasites, and it does very well. Well, when they land on a flower, they buzz.
Yes.
It shakes pollen loose from the stamen, so pollen falls and lands. Remember, the bee is underneath. So he ends up with a face full of pollen. And the females are going to, this is a male, by the way, the females are going to put the pollen on their legs. And but the part that catches on their face, the next flower, they stick their face in, they'll lose some pollen.
Another word for pollination by bees is melitophyly. Understanding this process can allow us to fully grasp the value these bees have on our community.
So some of Jim Kane's research indicated in 1996 that each bee was worth about $14 to the industry. There have been some estimates in the last few years trying to account for inflation, and some people are saying each bee is worth as much as $70 to the blueberry industry. So it's a very important bee to the industry.
We know that this blueberry bee flies around and saves the day by pollinating our cherished blueberry plants, but does this insect hero have any villains to look out for? The rise in estimated price per bee can lead us to assume that something must be causing their value to go up. However, these bees appear lucky. Having migrated from deserts where their sister species originated, they seem to have separated themselves from the dreaded kleptoparasites.
Kleptoparasites are another bee that would slip into the nest of this bee and lay its egg on the pollen ball, and its egg would hatch first. And then that larva might kill the other egg, or it might just consume the pollen ball before the intended larva could. So they're called kleptoparasites. And as far as we know, there are no kleptoparasites of this bee in the eastern U.S.
There may not be a villain involved in the heroic storyline of the blueberry bee, but possible population restraints are on the horizon. Being ground nesters, these blueberry bees may be affected in the future by possible disturbances and corrosion of their current habitat, the ground.
Because there's 9 months of the year they're trapped underground. So yes, they are susceptible to loss of nesting habitat. And I don't know, we haven't explored if that's happening or not. But, typically, blueberries tend to grow in sandy soil. These bees like sandy soil, so where you find the blueberries, and I have yet to find my first nest. It's difficult to find bee nests, solitary bee nests. They tend to be quick in and out, and there's no obvious sign that there's a nest there. But they tend to nest in the same. We think they tend to nest in the same places blueberries grow.
We have all heard of the bumblebee and the honeybee, so why don't they get a chance to pollinate blueberries? What makes Habropoda laboriosa special enough to be our blueberry hero?
Why don't honeybees pollinate blueberries? There's 2 reasons. One is blueberry flowers need to be buzz pollinated, and it requires a larger bee than a honeybee. So a honeybee cannot buzz pollinate. The other thing is honeybees don't like blueberries. So yes, if there's nothing else around, they will attempt to visit blueberries.
The southeastern blueberry bee certainly qualifies as heroic, and we are lucky enough that it resides here in Alabama. Certain regions are more populated with this bee than others.
We're planning a trip now to South Alabama because we'd like to fill in these 3 counties where we don't have the bee yet, have not recorded the bee yet. And last year we were down in late February, and bees had been flying for a while.
Here in Auburn, we are graced with the presence of some blueberry bees. They save the day and make it possible to have blueberries in our area. What are we doing at Auburn to maintain the environment for the bees and make sure our heroes stick around?
So I'm working with, I'm part of what is called the Bee Biodiversity Initiative in Alabama. We are working with blueberry growers, particularly in the southeast part of the state, just make them aware of the bee, the fact that we need to leave land near the edge of the field that's sandy. Let them nest there. If you find the nest sites, protect them. This year, there's an event called Bee Auburn, and this will be the 2nd year for Bee Auburn. And this year, the focus is going to be the southeastern blueberry bees. So we're going to be having some public awareness sessions in town, emphasizing the southeastern blueberry bee, what it contributes to the foods we like to eat, which are blueberries. During National Pollinator Week, we'll have a festival here in town.
The students on Auburn's campus also demonstrate a passion for our local heroic busy bees. To share our appreciation for the local bees and their pollinating superpowers, we have organizations like the Auburn for Bees Club, which raises awareness and money for bee labs and the bee garden on campus.
These guys are not going to sting. Solitary bees in general do not sting. Colonial or social bees, honeybees, or bumblebees, the workers have a responsibility. One of those many responsibilities. One of them is to defend the colony to their death. These are not defending a colony. These are solitary moths. All they want to do is reproduce. So yes, I could take a female, and only females can sting because a stinger is a modified egg-laying tube. So male bees, not a male bee on the planet can sting. So you can grab that male carpenter bee with a white face. Its stinger is not rigid enough to penetrate human skin. It's not going to sting.